Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the podcast that tells all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Marianne Petrie. You can find me, my books, and blogs on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com as well as Amazon. I'm very proud to have brand new guest, Hector Araujo, on. He is from Staunton, Virginia, and he's been going through a court case where he was given every other weekend non-custodial parent while the mother had 50-50 primary. Now, in 2019, false charges evolved, and, and that also brought on charges of domestic violence and breaking and entering, including 14 felonies. Also, in 2022, the ex's boyfriend was beating up the kids. And this is when the grandmother got involved. So I welcome you, Hector Araujo, to the podcast. Where are you at with your case and what's been happening?
Oh God, this case has been going on since 2007. We've been in and out of courts, a lot of lawyers, a lot of jail time, a lot of back and um, as of where we stand right now, we stand with an appeal sitting in the court and two show causes that have been entered towards the mother not for not giving me the kids.
Right. And that's custodial interference. Does she know that's a felony?
If they would hold it like that. See,
Right.
they punished her multiple times, but they just give her slaps on the hand and oh, please don't do that again.
Well, these personality disorders don't learn from this.
No, not at all.
And these judges are personality disorders, so they relate well to the offender. Sorry, but
Right.
they do.
Yes, that is correct. And so basically, I had got these charges, and because of those charges, she was able to manipulate judges and use the court system to her advantage. So what her attorney does is when we go in front of new judges, she'll present this case that happened to me with her and use it as a weapon, as a, oh, hey, these are the bases why the father shouldn't have his children, you know? So here forward, let's go 2022. We're in court, we're sitting. I'm going in to court because my kids are telling my fiance at the time, hey, we're getting hit by mommy's boyfriends. He's taking a spatula and smacking our feet with a spatula so he doesn't leave marks on us. So
Uh,
uh, she doesn't tell me the whole story until the day of court. The day of court's when I find out the whole story. So we're sitting there, we're talking. I hire a new attorney at this time. I tell him, relay all the information to him, and he's like, "Oh man, let's go ahead, let's press charges." So we're thinking, okay, we're going into court. We're gonna we're gonna have this trial. They're gonna put the kids up and have the kids talk about how they've been abused by this man. You know, so they try to make this a circus parade,
mhm.
and try to make this. It was the father. The attorney brings up that, oh, I'm still in love with the mother. That the only reason I am making these allegations is because I'm jealous of the boyfriend. Mind you, at this time, I'm started a whole new life with a whole new person. I'm living my life trying to raise my kids and help her raise her kids. We're doing the co-parenting things between both parties. Her husband's joining us. We're trying to live. This is just putting stress on our relationship.
Mm.
We're going to courts. She's in and out of courts with me. And, the courts are like, oh, well, the kids are lying. The kids aren't telling the truth. You're coercing the kids. You're telling the kids what to do. Mind you, I only get the kids 4 times in a month. I'm getting them every other weekend. So I only see the kids 4 times a month. So how do I have time to sit here and put ideas or mental stuff into my kid's head?
Mhm.
No time for that. What there
No.
is time for is to sit there and be a father. These people have put these judges' ideas that I'm sitting there putting stuff into these kids' head. No, actually, what I'm doing right now is trying to be a father.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to teach my kids and actually work on the issues that they have at hand. So instead of letting me be a father and help my kids, because my daughter was having educational problems with
Mhm.
reading, she has reading problems. So, I'm putting her in Sylvan. I'm doing the extra
Mhm.
tutoring during my summer times.
Mhm.
Those are my times to spend with my daughter instead of having her in summer school or trying to do this. So the grandmother's sitting there putting on a show with the judge. I'm a piece of shit dad. I'm in love with the mother. And it's hard. It's a hard thing. So with her being agent of the social services, she used her powers to persuade the judge on that this is all a lie. I'm just making everything up. So at the end of the day, we're in court. So the judge had she had a hard time. So she found the guy guilty, and then the mother's boyfriend found him guilty, but allowed him to still stay in the house and have communication with my children. So, how do you find someone who is guilty? They even admitted that they're guilty with no contact, but they're guilty, you know? And then the judge allows them, like, I'm waiting to hear, okay, this man's not allowed to be returned to the house.
Right.
No, but that wasn't the case. This man was allowed to return to the house, but he wasn't allowed to have contact with kids. What kind of mental strain or mental anguish does that causes the kids? You know, this is stressing the kids out. This is not a right thing. How are you going to put a man back into a house where they just admitted you found this man guilty, but just because the grandma came and said, "Oh no, it's okay, we'll keep an eye." No.
But she was an agent working for CPS?
Yes, so she's a
That's
CPS.
why.
Yep, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Who was the judge?
So Judge Reed is the judge.
How
There's
do
a
you,
couple of Judge Reeds out here in this area. Judge Reed from uh, it's JDR District Court in Staunton, Virginia. This judge has done multiple mistakes. She's actually uh, in tr- not in trouble or not being investigated, but she's been the cause of murders of children out here. And there was actually a child that was murdered 2 years ago, 3 years ago, here in the city of Stanton. That the judge returned the child to the mother. The mother lost her head and ended up murdering the child after the kid was given by CPS and the authorities. They were given the father the child back. Then the judge came back, took the child from this father, and gave it back to the mother, and then the mother ended up killing the child.
oh, these judges don't care. I'm
No,
under they just don't care what's going to happen, the outcome of the case. Are they not thinking ahead?
no, never. It's what they think that the 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 case is gonna go. They keep these cases in because they make money off of these cases. You know, so hey, where's my retirement fund coming from? Let me pull another case in real quick.
Mhm.
Let's keep pulling these cases in. Oh, this one's gonna be a nice one. Let's keep this one going for a while. Let's keep this guy.
Especially Hector, when they say, I want us to reconvene in 3 months and we're going to review this again.
Correct.
That's how they get you coming back in.
And that's how they keep us coming back in. So every certain amount of time, they're like, oh, well, we'll give the father a little time. Oh, we'll see how the kids are doing. Hey, you want some more time, Mr. Araujo? Let's see, 3 months from now, how you're doing. Well, here we are, 7 years later. I'm doing great. And I still don't have the amount of custody time that I should have with my kids.
Mhm.
Within the last 4 months, of this past year, I haven't seen my kids. My kids have been taken from me, alienated from me.
Uh-huh. So they've been turned against you. What happened first? Were they degrading you or
Well, at the first of all this, my kids were telling me, they would come back and say, "Hey, we can't eat that," and I'm like, "Why? It's your favorite food, If
Mhm.
they made a lasagna, I'd make them fresh lasagna, their favorite thing in the world. We're not allowed to eat that, Dad. What? How? You're in my house. You're allowed to eat this. I made this for you. Eat, guys. No, mommy says that is the devil. That is the food of the devil, and we're not allowed to eat that, Dad." And I said, Cecilia, uh, Caesar, this is your food. This is your dinner. This is made with love. Like, how is this the devil's food? Can you explain to me? Mommy just says it is. So those are the things that she develops and puts into the children's head at an early age and starts this manipulation journey on, all right, now the father is not doing the cell phone thing. Oh, he punished them. Let me go ahead. I'll do the cell phone things. I'll get them on my side. And who cares what the father's doing to teach them a lesson or, how he's parenting his way. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it the wrong way. That way the kids all see that mommy's here for them, and she's done that to the point where now the kids hate me. They resent me. They think like I'm the bad daddy or I'm the bad person because I have implemented laws and rules in the house. So, hey, if it's time to wash dishes, it's time to, do the dishes,
Mhm.
not to sit down at the table and watch TV or play video games. Hey, if it's time to do your bed or do your chores, that's what time it is, and I get disobeyed. I don't hit my kids. I will never hit my kids.
Mm.
I use my words and my discussion. If they do act up, they go on the wall like a normal kid does.
Mhm.
We don't need to put our hands on our children. There's
Right.
ways for us to do things, but the mother proceeds and lets the court know, oh, I think he's abusing them when he punishes them. He hits them or does something because the kids don't act right when they're around me. They always want to talk to me. Okay,
Oh.
that's an open up communication. They want to talk to you because they're trying to tell you something. That's how we discuss stuff in our house. We don't just go to start hitting or automatically accuse you. We find out what goes on here. That's what a family's about, you know. So
Mm.
at this point in time, it's just a battling ongoing battle. Um,
It- Judge Reed should have just given you full custody upon hearing that the boyfriend was found guilty.
well, at that time, I should have, if not, at least gotten a 50-50 hearing verdict to where I got more time with the kids so I can actually work. My fight in that court that day was my kids are being abused. Who knows how their mental stability is? My son's about to go into middle school, you know. He's graduating out of elementary school. He's becoming a young little man.
Hmm.
What is this doing for him, Your Honor? To see the mother, being yelled at or being verbally abused by the boyfriend, and then the boyfriend coming after them. It's no, it's not right, you know. But the guardian ad litem that
Ugh.
was there at the beginning, he was on my side the whole entire time. But once social services came involved and once all them gathered that day of court, he was over there. And that was the weird thing. Like, that's the first time this man's been away from me. He's always around me, always talking to me, always, with me and my lawyer in the corner. Hey, I believe in you guys. Great job. Keep it up. Then you got this bunch of females that came in one day
Hmm.
started bad mouthing me. Oh, the father. And then I see him over there in the corner laughing it up with them, like, huh, and pointing to me. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, wow, really? And I'm looking at my attorney. What's going on here? Uh, like he's flipping the script.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead for that one. So when I got the verdict, they sentenced the mother's boyfriend and the mother sitting there and they're sentencing the mother, and no time for the mother. She's not in trouble, but the boyfriend gets a slap on the hand and said, "Hey, try not to, uh, try not to watch how you, e- excuse me, watch how you um, punish the children, or what type of punishment you give the children." That was his talking to by the judge. So,
Whoa.
the verdict comes in. She gives us all this stuff, and the grandmother's over there boasting, with her friends, oh, the father won't get no more time, no more, or extra time. We were able to save my daughter and the children from any more harm.
Your case is like my case, like other parents' cases. This is like a playbook.
It is. It's something that they do across the world. It's not
Mhm.
here. Guys, wake up. Young generation, wake up. Do not let this government run you. They're not the bosses. The judges are not the bosses. You guys are the bosses. Don't let them in your lives. If you say you're not coming into my life, don't let them in your life.
Mhm.
Try to work this out if you can cordially. And if it does go to the point, try to stay out of court and have the lawyers just work it out,
Mhm.
instead of going in front of a judge.
Right. I- I know people that can
Yes.
divorce and co-parent amicably. But
Ex-
then, like, you moved on to a relationship. I remarried, and that's when hell broke loose and attorneys got involved. If they were doing mediation, that was far from it because the opposing attorney was beating up on my attorney who was trying to scream her head off. And it eventually I got dragged into family court whether I liked it or not.
yeah. And that's the sad part of this. It doesn't
Yes.
like that. It does. But if people can stay out of it, stay out of it. This is my message to everybody. Like, do not let the system take your kids. Do not let them in your house. Do not let them anywhere around your kids. Like, do not give up. Yes, it's a long journey. It's hard, but at the end of the day, I've had 5 strokes from this stress. I had to have an emergency pacemaker put in me. I came home. I bled 4 pints of blood out. Later that same week, I was diagnosed with Bella palsy of the left side. They found out about all those things here in my recent court case, and now they're trying to take away my parental rights. They're saying because of all my conditions, I shouldn't be a father.
Um, they've got to, I think everybody should research ADA violations
Hmm, right.
because you have ADA rights.
Yes. So at that point, here we are today, a year from uh, a year from today, I was in and out of hospitals dealing with my heart issues. The depression got so bad that it was just it was it was it was hard. It was hard to cope. It was hard to find comfort in wanting to be around people.
Hmm.
At this point in time, I felt like I've been abandoned. I felt like I've been destroyed. So I sheltered myself. I hid myself in my house, and I didn't talk to nobody.
Hmm.
Communication with the world whatsoever. And what I did was I started to learn. I started to learn the laws. I started to do research, and that's when I came across you
Oh,
and your podcast and the amazing people you have brought on here. I've learned so much from everybody, and I put those tools that you guys have put out there for us to use. And coming up in this next court case, a lot of those tools are being put to the test, and we're going to see how the outcome comes. We're going to see how we can turn this court case around to start favoring the kids. I don't care about me. I care about the children. The
hmm.
kids are the ones that are getting hurt.
Right. Because with these judges, I know they know what they're doing. Okay, we all know these judges and attorneys know what they're doing. They know about child psychological abuse. They're aware of the parental alienation, which they encourage.
Yep. And
And go ahead.
you can see here in my state, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and let's bring this out. Here in the state of Staunton, here in Virginia, the state of Virginia, here in the city of Staunton, they don't believe in parent alienation. I have brought that up multiple times in court, and the judge laughs at me and says, I don't know what I'm talking.
What if you took another turn and call it what it is, child psychological abuse?
And that's what those are the tools that we are going to be using. Yes.
Because also another good thing to bring up, everyone should bring this up in court. There are the adverse childhood experience scores.
Correct.
I
And I
think
just started learning about that the last podcast, and I'm trying to figure that whole system out right now. So that's something I'm trying to bring up to my attorney, but my private investigator and I actually have sat down and we talked about this and are trying to figure out how to use this, how to do the tech to incorporate that into this court case.
it has to be because it sounds like the grandmother, they're all in conspiracy. You know, the mother, the boyfriend, the grandmother, her attorney,
Oh,
they're all,
they are.
so
I
they
can
are all child psychological abusers.
correct. Well, see, it's not even that because I even caught social services abusing my children verbally behind their back. So my private investigator, love you to death, bro. Thank you. Has um he submitted some FOIAs to social services, and in this FOIA request, one of my calls to social services was to try to block my case from the grandmother because the grandmother works for social services. So she has access to all the files. So I'm making multiple calls um, to the social services and everything, and letting them know that what they're doing and whatnot, and what she's doing, and I'm calling that office, the head office of social services in Richmond, Virginia. I'm
Mhm.
calling the governor's office. I'm like, hey, you guys got rogue agents out here doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. And I'm breaking the cases down. Well, I get a call from the head of social services. Oh, hey, listen, I'm gonna look into it. Da 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 da. We're gonna go and do, our investigation. We'll make sure your case is safe. I promise you, sir. Somebody's gonna reach out to you.
Mhm.
And the governor's office, Governor Youngkins, you know, I get a call from his office. And I was told, don't call up here no more. We don't deal with your problems. I'm just like, you're my governor, you know. I'm supposed to report these type of activities to you guys. You know, no, they threatened me. They called me from a blocked number, threatened me, told me never to call the office again, and if I did, I'd be big trouble. So I
Wow.
said, oh, you know what? Hey, screw you. I'm gonna call again. You're my governor. I'm supposed to report to you. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
stop it. So then I get a call from social services again, and it was Mary, the agent, and she's like, "You can't be calling the governor's office." Da 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 da. I was like, "I'll call him, all right, trust me." Then I called my private investigator, and I told him about the situation. He puts in FOIA requests to pull those phone calls, and they're like, "Oh, we never talked to this man. That man's crazy." Da 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 da. All right, we'll see when the FOIA request comes in. Got to answer that.
They have to answer that because they just said you're crazy. So they must have talked to you at some point. They just screwed themselves.
Exactly. Correct. So we're sitting here, we're like, oh man, we're loving this. So these are the texts that I've used. I've hired a private investigator. We're entering FOIA requests. We're asking for those emails between these people. So I got the email between Mary and the Virginia office here in Stanton. They're going back and forth. They're like, "Oh, let's see what the cockamamie." They literally said in the paperwork, "Let's see what cockamamie stories the children had told the father today." So you're mentally abusing my kids behind their back. Like, really? Come on. Like, I'm here asking for help, and you guys are calling my kids, you know, liars, basically.
Hmm.
So I'm not, we're not down with that.
No.
So in this case, they go on and talk about, oh, the father's request isn't, out of reason. We should look into keeping the grandmother out of his case. They're admitting all this stuff, literally. And I'm just reading through it with my private investigator, and we're like, wow. And then they're sending me files on the mother's boyfriend. Apparently, the grandmother had taken custody of my ex-wife's boyfriend's kids at some point, and then they got it. Then she got him taken away from her. So, and when we tried to investigate that and we brought that up in court too, they were like, "Oh no, we can't talk about that stuff here." So, we're finding out a lot of things right now and trying to figure out the appropriate ways to use those tech to our advantage now.
Hmm. Yeah, when you have a relative involved either in the courthouse or CPS, it's almost like you don't have a prayer to win.
No, and it's just it's like you cry and you cry and you cry out. You to be the most righteous person in the world doing the righteous things, and all of a sudden your world just comes crumbling down. We took it. We believe in a system that we thought that would be there to protect
Mm.
innocent or protect the people who can show facts and reality and truth. No, it's the people who can coerce the justice system into believing what's right for them, and
R-
that's the issue.
Right. I was warned by one of the nurses I worked with. She said, be careful. When you go into court, take everybody and your brother in there with you because the judge is going to go with whatever CPS recommends.
Yep. So going back to the guardian ad litem, that's what
Mm-hmm.
happened. So the guardian ad litem gets up and says, "Your Honor, I think that the children should remain with the mother. I'll retract my sayings from before and da 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 da." So I'm just sitting here. I'm like, "Wow, dude, you just hopped the fence like
Mm-hmm.
it was nothing." I'm sitting here. You know what my kids are going through. My kids have talked to you and told you they want more time with me privately,
So,
and they've gotten abused by the mother afterwards. So the mother puts cameras in the room where they don't know that they're at, watches the whole conversation, and then if it's something that she didn't like from the kids, she punishes them.
mhm. Oh, definitely. These guardian ad litems I call third-party parasites because they serve no earthly purpose unless they do the right thing, which I have yet to see one do.
Oh, that's so I'm waiting for one too. That's
Well, eh, this guy flipped. So did they buy him off?
that we don't know. So I don't know anything after that case. I actually took upon my fiance at the time and I took it upon ourselves to go on his Facebook page or on his uh, his practice page, and we left a detailed message on how he went from one side to another side within 30 seconds. You
Hmm.
know, so we accused him of all that. Yes, we went after him. I did. I went on his page. I accused him of flipping the sides. I asked him, "What would you get bought out? Did they buy you? What would they give you? Would they offer you some more money or something?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I told him. And then after that, come a month later, I receive a letter in the mail that he has removed himself from the case.
Now you need to do a Google review on him.
That's what I did. That's the review I left.
Now, oh, good. Did you have, I can't remember if Virginia, do they give you transcripts or is it all recorded? I can't remember.
Virginia, you get transcripts. You
Oh,
they don't see actually in the state of Virginia and JDR courts, you're not allowed. You have to pay somebody to do transcripts. They won't do that for you. So if you want somebody to do that, you got to pay somebody, get it approved by the judge, and have them come in and do the transcripts for you. They don't. You're not even allowed to bring a cell phone in. You can't bring nothing.
Uh,
And this is how they protect themselves.
right.
This is how the judges. So they ban no cell phones in the courts. And if I like, I'm trying to learn how to audit because I'd like to go into these houses and audit them and see what it's about. They won't even let you in through the doors if you're trying to do something like that.
I wonder if you need to get like a
Permission.
forensic investigator.
But guess what? Welcome to my world. I did. CPS came and took my kids. So I went into the courts. Let's retract. This is the same case we're talking about. I went into the third floor courthouse, brought my kids, and I'm sorry, I apologize. Uh, this is after the case, same case, but right after the case. They find the boyfriend guilty. All this stuff goes on. My children are still telling me, hey, mommy's leaving us alone with him. We're not supposed to be alone with him from the judge's order. I go to the courthouse and I'm like, hey, listen, the mom's leaving them alone. Listen, I'd like to get uh, uh, a forensic investigator on the case. They're like, we don't know about that. No, my kids are reporting abuse again. This is going on now. This is mental, not just physical. I need a forensic. I want to see if it is true, if my kids are lying or trying to play the defense. You know, they bring in social services again. This is her name's Anita. We're coming for you too, Anita. She comes, rips my kids out of my hands, has the cops with her, and says they're coming with me. You can't come with us. I said, no, I'm going to go get lunch for my kids because they haven't had lunch yet. And then we'll meet you there. She said, no, they're coming with me. Cops pushed me out of the way, take my kids from me, and take them to this forensic facility here in
Mhm.
Stanton. And at the end of the day, I've made FOIA requests trying to get those videos. My lawyer, my PIs try to get involved, trying to get them. Hey, we want to see. We want to see. Won't release it, but yet
Oh,
say that they have the best life with the mother. They have the best life with the mother, and that there's concerns with the father. So that's where that comes in. So once again, social services, grandmother's friend, comes in, sweeps in, and takes my kids, and then they start saying, "Oh, it's the father."
yeah, this is really a case of collusion, case fixing. This thing was rigged. And what people need to know about this family court is it's very detrimental to a parent's health and the children's health as well.
It is. It takes a toll. It really does. Hey,
That, yeah, and that saying, which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, absolutely not. It has made me weaker. I've got to take heart medication. The level of anxiety and depression is still up, if not more. Thank
and
you, Judge Sambrook. You're a big help.
always looking behind your back, al-
Right?
always looking around, always like, "Hey, am I going to be the next victim again?" You know,
Hmm.
hey, always looking out that rear view mirror when you're down the road and a cop gets behind you.
Oh, yes,
Well,
yes.
hey, well, what allegations are they going to say they have a warrant for me today? It's always something.
Right. And where I lived in the last neighborhood, we had mailboxes by our house. I don't know if you do, but whenever the mailman would come, this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I had to call a friend and say, "Can you walk out to the mailbox with me?" So I had my cell phone, my friend on with me, and we'd go get the mail. And it's like you're getting closer to that mailbox, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's in there? And you knew. It's like a psychic thing. You knew what was in that mailbox. My current husband would get so mad at me. In fact, for instance, he just bought a brand new Jeep, and he was all excited. And we're pulling up to the house, and I said, "It's in the mailbox. It's from domestic relations." it's in the mailbox, and he yelled, I hate it when you do this shit. But he went to the mailbox, and sure enough, there's a letter from domestic relations wanting more money.
Okay. Well, see, I just got a letter yesterday from child support, as I told you about my health problems. Those health problems, also extended from a car accident that I had 2 years prior. A work car accident. I was
Mm,
hit and ran off the road. Excuse me. So from the car accident, depression, all that, it just builds up. Depression, it has nowhere else to go.
hmm
Either collapse or you're 6 feet under. You know?
hmm hmm
And for 5 strokes, it's hard. It's hard to push yourself to try to get your body movement back to where it used
hmm But
to.
and that's no reason, no medical condition is a reason to withhold children from a parent.
No, none at all. I mean, there are people out there that have no arms
Right.
that are out there doing their thing. You know, there's people out there that can't talk and hear, but yet they still have their children.
hmm
Why am I any different from them?
Well, if you were a criminal in a prison, you could actually see your kids more than you are now.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, and to also let you know that in 2014, the American Psychological Association wrote that childhood psychological abuse as harmful as sexual or physical abuse combined. Whoops.
right. It is quite true. And one of these PA books that I have that talk about parenting that I was studying a long time ago. Yeah,
hmm
and they actually talk about that. All that stuff is pamphlets, and one of the first thing I started looking into was that,
Right.
and you know, and so I'm hoping, with the correct language, that we come into the court with, that these judges are going to start saying, "Hey, this guy's waking up. We need to either back down or we need to do whatever they're going to do. If they're going to take them from me, so I can go and start fighting this a different route. Or if
hmm
you're giving me my kids, let me be a father. That's all I'm asking.
Now, in Virginia, you can't recuse the judge, can you? They don't
No,
let you, right? Right.
no. But what you can do is take it to federal court. And then what you can do in federal court is show all the FOIA requests that you've done, and try to show that this judge has fingered my case, has finger played my case. That is
hmm
the only way that we can hold these judges accountable is trying to pull cases like this. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes some money, but at the end of the day, hey, it's your kids. You know,
hmm
fight for the truth. You know, um, I'm not. I I am a testimony to. I've spent everything I own.
hmm hmm
I've lost everything. I've
hmm
rebuilt myself, and I've lost it again just from court battling. And all you can do as a parent is you keep a smile and you keep pushing forward. You find those outlets that you need. You keep finding those ways to win these cases. You know, educate yourself.
hmm
Don't go in there stupid. Don't go in there blind. Don't go in believing your lawyer will do everything for you. Trust me, there's so much that they can do. So it's up to you to learn and
hmm
learn your statutes of your state.
Also, what I found is even if your lawyer knows that you know stuff too, they'll
Mhm.
drop you.
See, and that is true. Uh, I've had my last attorney. Once I started using some language, yes, he looked at me and I was like, "Look, dude, if you don't get on board, I'm coming after you next. I'm gonna hold you responsible for psychologically damaging my kids because you're allowing this." You're not stopping any of this stuff. You're continuously allowing these judges to play us, and you're allowing this other side party to keep belittling me, taking my kids from me. And at the end of the day, it's your fault. This is your doing.
Right.
I don't want to hear, oh, it's the judge's call. Nah, bro, you could have stopped them. You could have did a better case. You know the laws just as well as I do now.
Well, this is where I always say uh, they should just abolish family court.
Exactly.
Get it down to civil court where a parent can choose to have a jury. Now, I did have Agnes McCurry on, and she says, well, you think juries can't be bought too, but still,
It's harder.
I think it's you still have a better shot than having a CPS caseworker perjure herself on the stand like mine did to get the kids away from me.
Yep, and that's kind of like what they did in this case I was telling you about. My grandmother just perjured. Oh, this bad man. This man, da 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 da. He's still in love with my daughter. This is like, we're done. I had a whole new life, whole new house, whole everything. Because of these continuous problems, me and my ex, we split. We left. So, at this point in time, I had a foot surgery, and like, you're about to have a hip surgery because of the accident, this and that. So, I'm just like,
Yeah,
I can't
this,
do more. You know,
this
it's
is what it does to a parent.
yeah,
And they always go after the good fit parent who's telling the truth.
and that's what it's sad. It's the hurtful part of all. You're up there. You have facts, text messages, paperwork, everything to show that you are right. And they're just looking at you like, yeah, okay, yeah. But yet they can come in and have no paperwork, no files in their hands and say, Your Honor, well, on this day, such and such texted such and told her such and such. We should hold him accountable for that. Well, where's the proof, Your Honor? I want to see it.
It's such a mess. It's such a mess. Also, with CPS, I called the governor's office too, and I got swift results. In fact, the first caseworker, they, I called later, after the governor's office called them, and I talked to the head of the caseworkers. I can't think of his name, Jeff something. And I said, so what did you do with this caseworker who perjured herself on the stand? And he said, well, we took her out of the field, in his words, in quotes, because she's not fit to be around people. I said, so you promoted her like she said on the stand?
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
said, I wouldn't say that.
Hmm.
So she lied to the judge about her promotion, and she lied about a whole lot of things. So, but people have to remember there's going to be retaliation. So when I was cleared and exonerated of the first indication of emotional child abuse, where they had no evidence, one-sided, investigation, 5 days later, there's another indication of emotional child abuse, where my attorney wrote a letter, and I have it in writing, that I was a target of CPS. They knew it. They knew I was a target. So I had another indication, and she's naming off all these things. The thing is, I didn't have the kids. So I don't know. This is what they do. People need to know that this is what they do, and then they make you lose your job.
Yeah. And that was the thing. See, I was told I wasn't allowed to work a third shift job, but yet the mother works a third shift job, has held a third shift job her entire career that we've been going in and out of court. But every time that I got a nice paying job to be able to pay my child support and work the hours and schedule I needed to be able to get my kids for the weekends, she would go into court and say, Your Honor, hey, he's working third shift. He's not with the kids. He's not there. But when I try to do that and I bring that up, oh, sir, we're not going there right now. We're not going to talk about that no more. We're past all that. But y'all made me quit my good paying job on a third shift position to go work a daytime job for half the fraction I was making. And then you're telling me, oh, child support's not happy with that job because
Oh,
you're not making enough payments to them. What am I supposed to do then?
right. And what people also need to know is child support, domestic relations, whatever they're called in your state, they will give you an imputed figure that you don't even make. And then they'll base the child support off of that.
Yes.
So when I lost my job involuntarily as a nurse because of the false indications from CPS, the judge, who was the child support judge, Judge Elizabeth Kelly, could not get it through her head and did not look at the past as to what happened that brought me to the point where I shouldn't even be paying child support because this was all lies.
Right.
But yet she imputed a figure that did not exist and she tacked on $3,000 onto the arrears.
So that time when those charges were brought upon me and I was incarcerated, I when I got out, I had a $12,000 child support arrears. I served an 11-month sentence and I came out with $12,000 in the arrears. So you're telling me I was paying 700 and something dollars while I was locked up this whole entire time
For 11 months
for 11 months? Yeah.
for non-support.
And yeah. Yeah, well, they put support. So the mother, what she did was as soon as I got locked up, she used that immediately and went and got support immediately on.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah.
So yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Well, it's not even that. Right now, actually, yesterday, when I got home, once again, walked to the mailbox. There it was, lo and behold, a letter from child support saying, "Hey, we're having a show cause against you." Well, I guess the mother's been calling in so much, and since I brought charges of allegations of her not giving me the kids, she's trying to use this avenue as oh, we're going to go after the father now. Let's try to see if we can get him in trouble or do something.
Well, she's using custodial interference. This is a felony kidnapping. People have got to wake up to this. Even law enforcement needs to be trained on this.
Well, that's the whole thing. I take it in, and they're telling me, no, it's not. It's just a court order, sir. Yeah, it's a court order that a judge ordered. So even the schools, I have an order where I'm supposed to pick up my children every Wednesday from school or every other Wednesday from school.
Mhm.
I go, the mother goes and says, hey, the father's not coming. Oh, okay, come and get the kids. She'll come and take the kids on my days and then say, oh, if you want to see your kids, you got to meet me at the sheriff department. Well, at this point in time, I'm not driving. I just had hip surgery.
Oh,
Driving, I can only drive a certain amount of hours per day or a certain amount of time per day. And I've kind of hit my limit because I go to physical therapy to help me with the movement of my hip where they did the surgery. So I do all, I'm doing all this physical training and it can only drive for 30 minutes a day.
mhm, mhm,
So 10 minutes to my physical training, 10 minutes home. That's the 10 minutes. And it's a 7-minute drive to the school from my house.
mhm.
I'm in a 27-minute radius. I only got a couple more minutes that, okay, so I'm gonna not listen to, I'll stay out a little bit longer. I go to get my kids and they're not there.
Oh,
He's like, oh, well, you're gonna have to come and pick them up here from the sheriff department at our regular meeting spot, you know. And this is the other thing. I try to do a pick up from Walmart, and she's having me pick up the kids from the police department. Well, oh, come on, guys, like that's not a cool thing. Oh, hey, we're gonna go meet our dad at the police department to get picked up. You know, that's not that's not good. That's not a good thing for kids to
well,
be.
do you want to hear something weird? I was talking to a dad who was in court, and the judge said, you will pick up the kids at a police station. The father said, well, I don't know. I don't think that's necessary. Get this. The judge says, but this is for your protection.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
like, okay, if this is for his protection, then he should be given full custody of these kids. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was told. Like I was told, this is for your protection, sir. I was like, why do I need protection? What am I being protected from? Oh, well, we're protecting both parties. Well, in the order, it states mother and father should not get out of the cars. Parent who is doing the exchange lets the kids out. The kids get out and they go into the other parent's view. So there's no communication. So why are you scared that we meet at a Walmart that has the same camera system that that police station has? You know, why can't we meet at our local grocery mart? You know, where I can go in, do some grocery shoppings instead
Mhm.
of meeting at a police station. Let's do something productive. Let's
Mhm.
teach the kids something different. It doesn't happen if it's not her way, or if it's not
Well,
if it's not the way that she wants things, or how she thinks the court sees her actions, then it can't be done.
and this is, you're dealing with a possible dark triad personality disorder. Has she had a psych eval?
Yes, and that's the worst part. But the psyche eval was done through a court appointed person. They didn't send her nowhere private or anything, you know. So these
So,
people just lie to them.
right. Well, see, when my judge, Sam Broke, ordered a psych eval, I he didn't send me to anyone. I went through my own insurance and I picked out a guy that was brilliant. In fact, in the psych eval, the last sentence was the motives of the ex-husband must be investigated.
Yeah,
Judge didn't like that because bear in mind it was rigged. So when the ex didn't do his psych eval, the judge was mad, yelling at him, I want that you to do your psych eval. He goes to a CPS psychologist that he had been seeing even previously, who did the psych eval. That's not even acceptable.
yeah, yep. And that's kind of what she does. So she goes to these social services entity businesses that get funding from them
Mhm.
for the health of the community. You know, so like these community places are supposed to be there for the community, but literally secretly they're really being funded and pushed by social services.
And they're getting kickbacks.
Exactly. Correct. Yeah.
So when will you see your kids next?
My next court date is February 6th, and
Mhm.
that is for the show causes. My appeal doesn't go until February 26th, and that's for the show causes against the mother not showing me or not giving. So,
Mother not giving you
mother not giving me kids. So,
not giving you the
uh,
kids. Okay.
yeah. So we got the show. I'm sorry, we got the show causes for the mother not giving me the kids on the 6th, and then we got the show. We got the appeal for my sister to be an intermediate. Instead of her calling me or dealing with me, she'd be dealing with my sister, and then let me recover mentally and my health, and just try to build something with my kids. I
Mhm.
went in front of Judge Reed for that, and she told me no, she was not going to grant that, even after talking to my sister. Told me that I needed to work on my mental health, even though I had paperwork from my psychiatrist, from my counseling place, stating I am up to code, I am doing my medicines, I am doing everything that I'm told to do. And in um, that letter, it states father multiple sessions has declared emotional abuse from the mother. Father, I agree with father, should have an intermediate to where the stress levels are taken away from him. You know, when I talk to this woman, it's like the end of the world. My heart feels like it's about to stop. Like I want the whole room gets quiet. Like I'm scared of this person. You know, everything that I've been through, she's talking about how she's scared. This woman scares me.
Oh,
This
yes.
this woman is nothing but evil. You know how? you got a man that's wanting to be a father, wanting to be there for his children, but yet you don't want to allow him in your children's lives, in our children's lives. Let's put it that way, because they're not your children; they're our children.
Right. And they're the future's children.
Exactly. Yep.
And this is why I think family court should be abolished because it's weaponized. It's all weaponized.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So, you've been working on a project
Yes, I have.
and tell me more.
We are filming a documentary. In this documentary, we are going to be exposing. We're going to be exposing the court system. I mean, as far as we are going to bring people into the show, they're going to talk about their life experience with the courtrooms, and we're gonna bring this to light.
Mm,
We're gonna let the world know, hey, this is happening everywhere. This is
right,
happening in New York, Virginia, all the way out to California.
right.
It's happening everywhere.
As well as, well, we all know it's a global issue too. I'm having hearing problems from England.
We have problems from England, Japan, China. It's everywhere.
It
It's
is.
you know,
And I think what people have to understand with this family court system, it's not normal for these psychopathic judges to not have psych evals, not have routine drug evals, and lie detector tests.
correct.
If a doctor and a nurse has to be, random drug screened, these people have to as well. They're dealing with people's lives.
Correct. Exactly. Yes. So this podcast is well, this documentary will just be talking. We'll have normal Americans that have been beat through these court systems, letting us explaining their stories, what they did, and where they're at this point in time. I'm trying to give this knowledge to our younger generations.
Hmm.
We don't want our younger generations to be stuck in this matrix of believing, oh, well, if I'm bad, they got to take my kids away from me. No, no, no. We don't want none of that. We want you to learn how to fight the system and protect yourself and learn the laws, how you can protect you and your kids from being taken or used by the system.
And they need to know, this is horrible to say because I was raised, oh, judges are good. They'll do the right thing. They rule fairly.
Right. And that's how raised my kids. I've
Ah,
literally raised my kids to believe in the legal system. Hey, there's stuff that happens to bad guys, and then there's stuff that happens to good guys. The good guys always win.
mm,
I wish I never stated that. You know,
no.
no, it's not true. And then my son, it's kind of funny because my son looked at me a little while ago over summertime. He's like, "Hey, Dad, what happened to the good guys always winning?" He's much older now. And I told him, son, they always win. It just takes a little while for them to get there. And
Hmm.
that's how I kind of broke it down to him. And he just kind of, shook his head. Oh, makes sense. So I didn't know if he was remembering these things or if it's just something that was just pressing in his mind at the time. But it's they're listening. They're there. You know, you just got to teach them the right way.
And going back to what you said when you had them on your every other weekend, and then they were blaming you for coaching them or probably telling them court issues, they do this to all the parents.
Yeah.
And that the judge lectures you do not talk about court
And
in front of the kids. And it's like you're preaching to the choir, buddy, because what my ex was doing, I'm sure a lot of these personality disorders do this, is there's the kid has to go to a child psychologist. They always set that up, right?
yeah.
Where the
Oh, yeah.
that parent will take in court documents, court orders, and transcripts and read it to the kids. And the psychologist will sit back and listen and let them do this.
Yeah. Exactly. And
Right.
that's sad. It's the hard part. Yes, that's what's happening with me too. You know, um, the kids are ordered to see a counselor, and with this counselor, I didn't. I found her. That's the funny thing is, I took my kids out of that social services entity thing that they were in because they were out.
Hmm.
See, I took them out of that because they kept saying, "Oh, the kids are fine. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
We're missing them." But yet the courts are coming back and telling me, "Oh, they need to be going every day. They need to be." Well, they just got. Oh no, they need to be re-enrolled. So I did the thing. I took them out of there. I re-enrolled them with a private place, use the insurance and everything.
Right.
I'm thinking, oh, good. I'm getting a step up, this is going to be a fresh start. Mother comes in, brings the court paperwork, reads it in front of them. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, how'd you find out about all this stuff? Because I get questioned this our next visit, you
Hmm.
know, and I'm asking, and she's asking, and I'm like, well, how do you know all this? Oh, well, the mother shared the court information.
In what way?
When did this happen, ma'am?
Right.
This happening on the kids' visitation or the kids' time? Oh, yes, we had a 15, 20-minute meeting prior to me meeting with the kids. And yes, we went over the case. Oh, were my kids present? Yes, sir. Where were your kids not going to be present? You're not supposed to be talking about this case. Why
And
are you
then
talking
you
about it?
get blamed for it.
And I'm the one that's coercing the kids. I am the one that is getting blamed. I am the one that's mentally psychotic destroying them.
The judiciary is taking our children and turning them into personality disorders by giving them to the abuser. It's very sad.
It is. It really is. Like I said, and all we can do is keep pushing. Try to get this message out to people
Yeah,
and try to fight back. You keep fighting back. You don't give up. Don't let them take your kids.
right. And I always tell parents to speak out. I would go to a family reunion on my current husband's side, and someone would say, "Hey, what happened to the kids?" And I told them what happened.
Yeah,
I don't have anything to be ashamed about because I didn't do anything wrong.
yeah, no, nothing.
But
We
people will look at you and oh, and then they'll walk away. But get the word out.
Oh, that's just a bad parent. Oh, trust me, the mother has gone around town and has blurted my name everywhere. You
Oh,
know, I had a one parent that was friends with the kids. Their daughter used to actually come over and play with my son and they were like, "Yeah, I met your ex-wife at the gas station. Man, that woman's crazy, dude. She was out there screaming that you try to rape her at a gas station. Like she didn't make sense. Like she was crazy." I was like,
uh-huh.
"Bro, I'm sorry, man. I apologize for all this." And he was like, "Yeah, I was there with my daughter, and she made this big scene. All
Mm,
I said was, hey, I am such and such mother and father, and we know your ex-husband. We love your kid." And she would just go crazy. Oh, he's tried to kill me and my kids. Oh, don't talk to him. Like, come on, people. No, no,
no.
no, no.
It's don't you find it odd? I mean, I won't keep you all morning because we could talk forever.
Good.
But don't you find it odd that these personality disorders that are our exes can tell anybody anything, and these people willy-nilly believe everything they're regurgitating?
Right. They do.
And I think there's two sides to the coin. Whatever you hear, come to me. Ask me what happened. Get my side of the story, please.
And that's what happened when I got out of jail. It was hard. Like a lot of people who knew me and knew her, they didn't know how to take it. So, at first it was a lot of explaining and stuff like that. But some people came forward and actually spoke up for me, and they were like, "No, he was innocent. This is all mother's doing." You know. So
Well, I'm glad that was happening.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's just very sick when a parent twists the child's mind, manipulates them, and then the child is weaponized against you as well, which is what happened to my oldest as well, or all three of them anyway. But she would go into high school and tell everyone that mom needs help, mom's mentally ill. Luckily, my nephew from my current husband, he shut that down, which I'm grateful to him. But it's very sad what the relationships we had with our kids just will never be the same now.
It won't be. But what I'm hoping for out of this outcome, once we do bring all this truth to the light in front of this new judge, is that that is we won't give up. We're going to continue fighting, and I'm going to keep pressing back against them. At this point in time, we have so much evidence against the mother. We have so much proof against the mother. There is no going back. Like if a judge does not see this, then we really know that really something is, you know, really going on really bad out there.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping that, this judge sees it our way. And if it doesn't, then we're just going to have to appeal and start taking this to the federal courts and start showing them that these are finger cases, you know?
Hmm. Well, yeah, I'm so glad I had you on. And Hector, I'd like to have you come back on with an update
Also,
when you're ready.
when
Uh, how can people reach you if they have any questions?
my email is Hector HectorAraujo 35 at gmail.com.
Great. I'll put that in the podcast notes. So don't jump off, okay?
No,
Slam the Gavel's a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these courtrooms. I'm your host, Marianne Petrie. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, and other platforms I don't even know about. Again, feel free to buy me a coffee to help keep this podcast going. Thank you, Hector Araujo, for coming on. I appreciate you speaking out.
thank you, Mary. Thank you for everything. Love
Thank
your
you.